Hey, Noble One. So I ran into a channel. In fact, I was just browsing through my YouTube homepage, I suppose, and I saw this Kazu languages, and it says priceless. No one expected me to speak 15 languages now given. Whenever I hear that, I usually sort of go towards these. This is probably nonsense, but then again, maybe he does know how to speak 2 or 3 sentences in 15 languages, or maybe he's very fluent and exceptional, maybe in like, what, 6, 7, 8, and then the others he's only ever so slightly intermediate, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, there is one way to know if this is nonsense or if this guy is actually really, really good and legit. And that is this face. This man. So, is Kazu language a fraud? Well, let's see.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive analysis of the language capabilities of a well-known online polyglot who goes by the name of Kazu languages. I've had multiple requests both on YouTube and in my Discord to do a investigation of this guy. Generally, these requests go along the lines of, I think this guy's a fraud. Can you please investigate him and expose him? Now, my community and I have done a deep analysis.
I do know that he's fair though. So if the person is legit, or if the person is like, nah, kind of exaggerates a bit, but he is pretty good, he will say it. But if he's a fraud, he will completely demolish them, which is, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, whatever it is.
Of his abilities. So I'm going to present the facts, I'm going to present his abilities, and then at the end I'm going to provide my analysis of his actual capabilities, and then I'll leave it up to you, the audience, to decide whether you think he's a fraud or not. So this is how it all started. On my YouTube channel, I received comments like this. Check out Kazu languages. 100p fake polyglot. I don't know what that middle part means, but they think he's a fake polyglot. Here's another one. Hi, I can't wait to see your review on Kazu languages. In his book, My Ultimate Method for Mastering 12 Languages from Scratch, he claims to master 12 languages many times, which I think is definitely exaggerated. Or also down here, thoughts on Kazu languages.
Mastered is a massive claim. Mastered is a massive. I would say that masters is above fluent. Just personally, I mean, I don't know, I guess we all treat these words slightly differently, but to me, if someone tells me I'm conversational in a language, and then they tell me, oh no, but I'm fluent in this other language, obviously fluent is above conversational. But if someone tells me I'm fluent in this language and I mastered this other language, to me, mastered is above that, above it. So I mean, we'll see.
So you can see that there's definitely some interest in investigating this guy. And then on my Discord, we have also had a request to do an investigation of his language capabilities. Okay, so this is the YouTube channel in question, Kazu languages. So let's see what he actually says.
1.2 million subscribers. It's a big channel.
Hello, I'm Kazu from Japan. Currently, I speak 13 foreign languages, which I have studied properly. Studied properly? That's an interesting way of putting it. These are English, Spanish, French,
That's Japanese. ちゃんと勉強した or ちゃんと勉強しま properly. That's how they say it. So that's why it sounds strange to you, because it's, yeah.
Portuguese, Arabic, Indonesian, Russian, German, Turkish, Chinese, Korean, Thai, and Polish. So those are going to be our focus languages. I'm also learning Dutch, Tagalog, Cantonese, and Hindi. And then he also says that he speaks Japanese and he's learnt, you know, a couple of little words here and there and about.
What? I can do some greetings and such in about 60 languages. That's not... Why would you even put that in there? Of course people are going to think you're a fraud. And maybe it's not. But I'm saying they just don't. It's cringeworthy to be... Like, yeah, okay, it would take me like 5 days and then I could say, yeah, I can do some greetings in 150 languages. But yeah, anyone can do that.
60 other languages, mainly greetings. So that's what he claims on his YouTube channel. But he also has a...
Even at the end of that, but still only a little bit. でも、ちょっとだけ. It's Japanese. Like, I can see how his Japanese mind created the sentences and then gave it a skin of English, if you will.
A book. Here is the book in question. He is on his YouTube channel. But he also has a book. Here is the book in question, here's the title, and here is the description. Now, for the majority of you who probably don't speak Japanese, I have got this translated. Basically, the book title, as mentioned right here.
0から12か国語マスター. Yeah, you see, it does say master shita watashi. Exactly, so that's what it is. I, and then this entire thing, Japanese is amazing like that, but this entire thing functions as a modification of I. So I... meaning the person who, from 0, mastered 12 languages. Yeah.
Here, if it went through a direct title translation, it would say the ultimate foreign language learning method of me, someone who has mastered 12 languages. And then in the description, it basically says, never study a language, the author who learned 12 languages in just 5 years from English to the most difficult Arabic. And then he has learned Spanish, English, French, Arabic, Indonesian, Russian, Portuguese, German, Turkish, Chinese, Thai, Korean in 5 years. So he talks about mastering, which if you know and you've seen my channel before is a very high bar. That means you are very advanced in the language. But he also says in English that he has studied properly or learnt. Now, within this specific book, there is multiple places where he actually says mastered. Here is an example.
Yeah, studied properly, just to give you an example, EvilDEA, because I know exactly what he means. Chanto is what he's translating from proper, and it's just a thing they do. It basically is saying, I'm doing it the right way. I'm not like one of those people who, yeah, they say they're studying a language, but in reality, they're really just wasting their time. No. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it the correct way. This is what he means by properly. So that properly or proper doesn't necessarily aim to indicate a level per se, but it's just trying to tell you, to convey the idea he's doing it the way that it's supposed to be done. He's actually sitting down, he's taking the time, he's committed, and he put in the work. That's what you get from using the expression chanto. Chanto shigoto shite, so like, do your job right. What that would mean. That's that. But then again, when you say master, yeah, I know the master in theory could be like C1, a high C1. But then again, to me, it depends. It depends. If you're using it within the European framework of reference, then it's one thing. But in colloquial English, I would personally say that if you have mastered any skill, it means you have reached an extremely high level, and the next level would be native-like. But that's just me. I mean, he's the native, not me.
Example from chapter 1. Chapter 1, mastering 12 languages in just 5 years, and there is the Japanese on the left-hand side. Correct. So the question is, does he speak properly, or has he mastered? Is this a mistranslation of master, and he's just translated it as speak properly, or is he presenting his abilities at different levels in...
No, he's saying master. He's absolutely saying master. It's over there in katakana, so I can just show you, but this is master. It's basically English. This little thing here is English. It's just that it's spelled with the phonetic alphabet katakana, which is normally used for either writing foreign words and incorporate them within a Japanese script, or they use it to basically do what we do when we do the all caps. So you would switch from hiragana kanji into full katakana to represent all caps in the Japanese language. But yeah, this is English, and he's saying master. Absolute master. Absolutely saying must.
So I'm going to have to leave that one up to you because, well, it's hard to say right now. Let's actually then dive into his languages. Now, as part of my analysis of hyperpolyglots and polyglots, my community and I generally work together to break down each individual language, and we work in a communal document, as you see right now here on the screen. And we put all our information here, including each language that he claims to speak, and then we bring in actual native speakers and learners of those languages to critique his abilities in each one of these languages.
I love how methodical he is, EvilDEA.
So first we're going to look at English. So we're going to click on this video right here.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Kazu from Japan, 22 years old, and I taught myself 8 languages and study many more languages in my spare time. Now people ask me tips and secrets on how to learn languages efficiently and quickly. Let me get straight to the point. If I have any secret, I would say it is Italki.
Now you've heard his English, and I'm assuming you're either a native or you speak English well enough because you're watching this video, but if in some worlds you don't, here is some comments from reviewers on basically his English level.
Well, it seems to be rather understandable, no problems, no problems. You're not assessing. It's an intermediate. That's an intermediate, maybe even low intermediate, in fact. Heavy accent, absolutely. Sentences are correct, yeah, because that's rehearsed, clearly.
And as you can see in here for yourself, he has a pretty good English level, although he's probably reading a script there. We don't doubt that he speaks English well. Yeah. He clearly has an accent though, so nothing too amazing there. But he...
And also it's not a matter of having an accent, it's a matter of how fluent you sound, how natural you sound. And you can tell that he's a little robotic, it's a bit mechanical. So I don't believe that's someone, and that usually means that you haven't really used that language that long. So I would consider him intermediate to lower intermediate just out of those. Because here's the thing, if he's using a rehearsed or possibly reading from a script, then what you're seeing is actually on the high level of what he's able to do. And you would have to lower it a little bit if we had to actually engage with a native in a full-on conversation. So not impressed.
He does claim in his book that he has mastered English.
He hasn't.
Whether I would deem that as mastering English, that's a different story.
You're just being nice, he hasn't.
Now, let's take a look at his Spanish.
Barcelona, o sea, cerca de Barcelona. Sí. ¿Cuánto tiempo viviste en Guatemala?
6 meses.
6 meses también. Ok. Oh, ahora
Pero el
súper
español
bien.
es muy diferente. Es
Muy
más-
diferente, ¿no?
Yo aprendí en una escuela en Berlín
Ajá.
y es más de España de Europa.
Europa,
Pero en Guatemala ellos hablan diferente, más tranquilo, más tranquilo y más claro.
Claro, hay algunas como expresiones típicas,
Sí, sí,
como slang, Guatemala.
sí, como en Costa Rica o...
¿Puedes enseñarme una?
Okay, so we've heard him in a natural conversation. Now let's see him in a scripted environment.
Hola, soy Polyglot Nomad. El día de hoy me gustaría hablar de mis impresiones de Barcelona desde el punto de vista de japonés. ¿Estás listo? Vamos.
Now, if you want to watch any of these videos in full, this document will be linked in the description. You can go click on it, you can watch the video, you can read the comments yourself. Basically, the summary of his Spanish-speaking abilities is that of a B1 speaker, which is pretty good, but again, it's not mastery. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at his French capabilities.
Yeah.
Tu parles français?
You know? Je parle français.
Ah, d'accord, ouais, ouais, c'est le pays francophone, donc ouais.
How do you know that?
I'm just interested in, you know, African countries, so
Really?
yeah.
So you live in Japan, right?
Ouais, je suis japonais.
Et t'as quel âge?
Ah, j'ai 23 ans.
3 ans.
Et toi?
You look young.
Ah, merci. T'as 18 ans?
Non, 23.
23? Oh, on dirait pas, ouais. Tu habites où? En Burundi.
Non, là je suis en France.
Okay, so we've heard him in kind of a natural scenario there. You notice some of the more complex sentences swap back to English. Let's see him in more scripted environment.
Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Polyglot Nomad.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to, once again, I would say somewhere in a B1 environment, maybe. But then again, B1 as well does require a certain vocabulary, right? And that's an important aspect that I have to underline as a former assessor and whatever I used to examiner. And so B1, yeah, you could kind of tell by the way someone speaks whether or not they're fluent, the pronunciation, the rhythm, the vocabulary choice, grammar functions. You can tell, yeah, I think this guy's a B1. But then again, there is a certain number of words and a certain type of words and vocabulary that we don't know. We have no idea if he has that, if he knows that many words. So someone may appear to be B1-like, but perhaps they're not. Like if they were to actually take the test, they wouldn't understand half of the words because they don't have the actual full vocabulary required, not to mention the grammar understanding that you would normally expect. But anyways, let's be generous and say maybe somewhere on the B1. Of course, the African guy, his French was clearly superior, both in terms of pronunciation and how natural he sounded. All right, how is his Portuguese?
That in some of these videos, when he made them, he was probably an A2, and now he might be around B1, B2. Again,
Man, B2, come on, EvilDEA, don't be too nice.
not mastery, but at least he's learning the language.
Sure, I'll give him.
Okay, now we're going to check out his Portuguese.
Yeah.
Então você fala português também?
Falo portugués menos bien que español, porque he aprendido español primero y después el portugués. Entonces, falo más tipo portuñol do que
Portuñol.
portugués.
He does the same. I do understand him, but then again, are they really speaking Portuguese? I'm not sure we should put the flag because, as he said now, he's mixing Spanish and Portuguese, so, which is actually what he does. Steve Kaufman, he does that in Italian as well. When he says, I'm speaking Italian, he's not actually. It's a mixture of Italian and Spanish, but at least he says it, so I can respect that.
Quando fui en
Sorry.
Okay. Então você escolheu o sotaque do Brasil?
Bem, eu estudado os dois. Escutado muitas coisas em português de Portugal e coisas de Brasil. Tem visitado os dois países.
Okay, cool.
Entendo os dois. Acho que uma pessoa que quer aprender a língua portuguesa deve acostumar-se aos dois. Ao português de Portugal e ao português de Brasil.
We're not really learning
Brasil.
anything.
Sim, estou concordo. Muito obrigado.
Okay, now obviously we didn't get too much out of that because realistically he does not say much Portuguese.
Not to mention, he basically said stuff that you can learn in 5 minutes.
In that, so let's go have a look at another one.
Fala português, não é?
Sim.
Perfeito. Falo também.
Sério?
Há quanto tempo você está estudando português?
Mês.
Mês? Seu português é muito bom, cara.
Muito obrigado.
Man, they're so nice. I freaking love all Portuguese speaking. I freaking love you all. It's so nice.
Obrigado, cara. Você é brasileiro? Tudo bem?
Bem, você?
Tudo. Obrigado.
Quantas línguas você fala?
Falo 8.
Now, really, we don't have enough information to be able to judge his actual level of Portuguese because, as you saw, it was very short clips of him asking questions or responding to the most basic of questions, and he never uses complex phrases. So, whether he's studied for a month or more, it's hard to say, but it does seem like he's been using Spanish as the base language.
Yep.
Now, remember, in his book, he claimed mastery of
And that's not mastery.
Portuguese. That is definitely not true. Okay, now we're going to review his Arabic, which again is in a scripted environment.
Let's go.
السلام عليكم كيف الحال؟ اسمي بوليغلوت نوماد. اليوم سأقدم نفسي بلغة عربية. هيا بنا.
Okay, now we're going to hear him in a natural environment.
Oh, cool. Can you say hi?
Hello, live?
No, recording. Yeah. What language do you speak?
English or Arabic?
Arabic. بتتكلم عربي.
تتكلم عربي؟
أتكلم عربي.
مرحبا بك.
حبيبي حبيبي.
They have a nice smile. I appreciate that.
شكرا شكرا. أتعلم العربي.
أنا أحب صوتك.
بجد؟
نعم بجد.
ليه؟ لماذا؟
الناس طيبين حلوين
نعم.
والأكل واو.
أكل. رامن لذيذ. نعم. لوحدي.
Oh, goodness gracious. The jump cuts. But also, basically, what we are hearing is good, food, good, food, good, food, master. Man, what am I then?
نعم.
You'll notice here that the people he's talking to keep swapping back to English.
Yeah.
And that generally happens after there's been a cut within the video, which means that he didn't understand their question, most likely in Arabic. Basically, the summary from our reviewer is that he actually has to re-listen to him a few times in order to actually understand him, which was probably what happened on the street there. So his level in Arabic is probably not that high, although we weren't given a specific designation, but it definitely isn't mastery. Okay, now let's take a look at his Indonesian.
I'll skip Indonesian and Russian that I see here because I want to see his level of Mandarin due to the fact that I speak some Mandarin, but EvilDEA has a superior level to mine, and I'm really curious to see what EvilDEA thinks.
5. Now, there is one last language I do want to look at, particularly in this video, because it's a language I speak, which is Mandarin Chinese.
你在中国哪里出生？
你会说中文？
我是中国。
你是哪里人啊？
我是日本人。
你是日本人？你会说这么多语言，好厉害！
就是我的西班牙语比较好，但
挺好的。
我去年开始学习中文，大概1年。
这很快。
谢谢。
Okay, so what he said there is he started learning Chinese last year. So let's have a look at this video when it was released. This video was released as of 3 months ago. So last year, let's just say, would be at the beginning of 2024. Now, this book was actually released in April 2024. So that means in this book, he claims that he has mastery of Mandarin Chinese. However, in that video, he said he started learning Chinese about a year ago,
It didn't sound bad, I'll have to say, his Chinese, but still.
which would put it roughly around the same time as this book was released. Maybe he started a few months before that, maybe a few months after that. Also, remember, it takes time to actually write books, and it could have possibly been delays in uploading that video. So what's going on here? Now, there's a few possibilities. One, he's underselling his abilities in Chinese, and he's saying, oh, I only started, studying 1 year ago in order to rizz up the girl, make her excited about the fact that his Chinese is so good at that point. But realistically, he is using very simple and basic phrases, so I don't think that's what's going on. 2, maybe his Chinese is actually not that good, and he didn't know how to tell her when he really started learning Chinese, which could have been before this, and he just went with, 1 year ago, because no one's going to check this information anyway.
Well, you are.
Or maybe he's memorized only specific phrases in Mandarin Chinese. One of those phrases being, I started learning a year ago, and hasn't actually updated the phrase that he's learnt yet. So in the grand scheme of things, something about these timelines does not match up. And we've seen it in other videos where he claims in very short periods of time that he started studying various languages, which based on his levels might be true, but then again, they might be underselling how much effort he's actually put into learning each language. Now, here is my March 2025 summary of Kazu languages. Unlike the other hyperpolyglots who I've done takedown videos on, Kazu languages actually does learn the languages that he talks about, at least to a very basic level, or maybe even a lower intermediate level. However, he does not master any of these languages.
Exactly, not even one. That's the problem. If the claim was, I study, but then again, what's the point of the book of that? That's the situation. That's why it clashes. Because if the claim was, I'm studying 12 languages and this is my journey, there would be no videos, or maybe there would be, but just to be together with you, like, okay, let me see, you're doing well, wow, congratulations, right? But because people have to claim the absurdity of, I've mastered so many languages, and I'm so young, it makes me so special, I'm incredible, I'm a genius, buy my book, that's a problem. That's a problem.
And even a claim to mastery for English, it's a pretty high bar to cross, and I'm sorry to say, that is not mastery of English. Although he may be fluent in English, it is hard to say because we have not seen enough content in English. But he's not mastered it, at least in my eyes.
I agree.
Now, for his other languages, specifically the ones that I do speak, I can certainly say without a doubt, he has not mastered Mandarin Chinese. Now, additionally, in order for me to really call someone a fraud, they have to be like selling scammy stuff. And this book is on sale for roughly $6 US. So it's not like a big overpriced course or anything like that. It is quite a cheap book, although it does really oversell his abilities, and it does it to a Japanese audience, and he doesn't oversell his abilities as much to an English audience.
He's right. Excellent assessment as usual. I would disagree with the price, honestly. Who cares? Like, personally, even if it was $1, if it's overpromising and most importantly, mischaracterizing your level as the baseline of, that's the main sell point. To me, that's a problem.
So I guess the ultimate question is he a fraud? I would say he's not a fraud. He's a genuine language learner, although he loves the attention that he gets for speaking a little bit of all of these different languages. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess, at the end of the day. The only part of this whole story that annoys me is the fact that he claims mastery to a Japanese audience.
And also this, the other thing that annoys me, thank you, EvilDEA. The other thing that annoys me is this idea of, well, I'm learning languages and I'm getting praises for it, but how can I be different from everyone else? How can I be special? How can I be excellent, fantastic, intelligent, smart? Well, I'm just going to say that I mastered 12 languages in whatever number of years, and so people are going to think, wow, you must be an absolute genius. And I have a problem with that, not only because it's a demonstration of a little bit of a kind of a teenage mentality, if you will, look at me, I'm so special, but also because it's used as a major selling point that will be the reason why people are going to buy the book. That's because he is excellency. But if that excellency is not true, that's the thing. Thank you, EvilDEA. Ciao, ciao.